Hello YouTube and welcome back to Old Flads. This is Rainbow Six Siege, and before we get going I just want to put out a massive thank you to my friend Rodney Mackay for this amazing new microphone. Hopefully you've noticed the difference in audio quality. If you haven't, then well shit. But outside of that, I'm very grateful for both this mic and, amazingly so, the graphics card you sent down as well. Thank you very much. Okay, on to the video. What I wanted to cover was the differences loosely between the older games and this current game, Rainbow Six Siege, and also how it's not actually as different as people want it to be. But we'll get on to that in a minute. So let's start off with what is Rainbow Six. Well, it's more Rainbow, to be honest. Rainbow is a counter-terrorism unit comprising of the best from all the forces around the world, or sort of allied forces if you like, from the SAS to Spetsnaz to GIGN, everyone who's everyone apart from, weirdly, the Navy SEALs is involved in this game. They've actually replaced them with the FBI, which I don't think, if I remember rightly, is correct, but nonetheless that's essentially what Rainbow is. Rainbow Six is actually a member of Rainbow, and the games follow the team as they go through. I don't know, it was a pretty crappy story, to be honest, but it was a game that required tactics, it required good planning, it required a keen eye for detail, and also an ability to know when to send the rest of your squad into certain situations and when you needed to be where you needed to be at any time. What is, however, Rainbow Six Siege? So, coming through from Rainbow Six and then Lockdown and then more tragically the Vegas series, which regardless of what anyone says was horrible after playing the originals, we have come to Siege. Now we were going to get Patriots, which I'm very glad they didn't do, because at that time they just murdered Ghost Recon Future Soldier, and they were obviously in a bit of a shitty spell at the time. We now have Siege. Siege is a multiplayer based 5v5 teamwork orientated game that really has taken the Rainbow Six franchise, its key elements, and brought them kicking and screaming into a modern day esports shooter. Now this is obviously going to cause some contention around the purists, because, well, there's no single player. There is a single player, but there's no campaign as such. Everything is done with a view to playing the multiplayer side of it. This is where people will stop probably the video, say, no, I'm not buying it, I don't want to play a multiplayer game. But give me a chance to just explain a little bit further. But we're going to go through the differences first. So we've gone through no campaign. There is also, rather annoyingly, no limping or disablement of body parts, which was in the original game, which is a very cool idea. It meant that if you shot someone in the leg, they couldn't run very fast, or they'd limp. If you shot someone in the arm, they couldn't use a double, like an assault rifle, they'd have to use a pistol, and so on and so forth. What it has kept is the no health regen, and it's also kept in the bullet damage being insanely high, including the one shot kill if you hit them in the head, regardless of the weapon. That's something that's also come out of the original games, and is actually a really key point to when you're playing Siege itself. The gadgetry that's used in Rainbow Six is different, as are the operators to a greater extent. So the gadgetry is more in line with current possible weaponry stroke modern fantasy. The operators all have an individual role, very similar to how they did in the original games, but this time it's based more around, you'll have a tank unit like with a shield, you'll then have the recon experts who are a bit quicker, you'll then have a sniper. Like I said, they are similar, but at the same time they specialise in different areas to give them more character, and that is actually something, as much as people may disagree, that separates it in a better way from the Rainbow Six games, the original games, because these people do have character and they have their individual differences that make a massive change over the course of a game. Also, something that Billy the Crayon came up with in our conversation on Twitter was that hit markers are still in the game in the casual mode. They're not in ranked mode, but they are in the casual mode. And that is, I think, nitpicking, to be honest. The time to kill in this game is very, very fast. It's a glorified search and destroy, so if you get a hit marker, is it that big a deal? Possibly, not really. With regards, if we just jump back quickly before we move on to the similarities, with regards to the single-player campaign, it's or the single-player element, it's basically a tutorial where you get to go through different elements using different operators, so you know who you want to buy with the in-game currency later on. It's not really story-driven, and it's not really designed to be either, so take that with a pinch of salt. Your main focus should be on the fact that this is a multiplayer game. So the similarities, right, so the operators, which I've said are more defined in different roles now. One thing they do share with the older games, their weapon sets are unlocked from the word go. There aren't many weapons per character, but that's also a good thing because you don't get bogged down in different ideas about how to play a character. You are led down a bit of a path with regards to how each operator should be played, but you don't have to unlock their weapons. What you do have to unlock with the in-game currency called Renown is the attachments. Now these things you'll be able to completely kit out a single operator in one game. Don't panic, it's not actually that massive a problem. The next similarity is the speed of the game. Now, the Rainbow Six game had a planning phase, which this one doesn't, but what it does have is a real-time planning map that's available through a tablet or a second screen, where you can actually plan and send people in real-time directional information about where you want them to go. So for a team of 4, 5, whatever, it would actually give a much broader picture onto where enemies are, where your current location of your teammates are, and also how you want to actually attack the objective. The tactical approach that was once given with the original Rainbow Six games is back, and it's the best it's been done in any modern shooter by a long way. Running and gunning in this game does not work. You make far too much noise, and you're more than likely just to get picked off or at least spotted, at the very least spotted, giving away your position and potentially the rest of your team's position, and allowing the defence or the attackers to know where you're coming from. The slow, steady, methodical, well-coordinated approach is by far and away the best option in this game, and I love it. I've been waiting for a game to do this for years, and I'm incredibly pleased with the way they've pulled it off in this game. I've already mentioned about how high the weapon damage is. It's debilitating, not in as much as that you won't be able to use your weapon or you'll walk slower, but your next move has to be so precise, because if it hits you above the body or ultimately in the head, you're going to be a massive liability for your team. Also, a similarity is Terrorist Hunt. Terrorist Hunt has returned in co-op, and you can also play it on your own, but it's obviously better in co-op. It has the classic mode, and it also has the modes that are done within the multiplayer game itself, allowing you to practice different operators and different tactics for any given map. The maps themselves are amazingly well designed. They're quite small, but that is the general idea regarding Rainbow Six anyway. When I say quite small, they're not open world like, say, an original Ghost Recon map would be. This is pretty much a pure close quarter combat game, and it's done very well. There's a large variety of maps with massives of different ways of attacking each objective depending on what the objective is, be it hostage or a bomb. And Terrorist Hunt itself is a lot of fun. It's incredibly challenging, like Terrorist Hunt should be. The AI has varying difficulties, and it also has varying numbers of them, and whilst some of the AI are quite stupid, they are also far better than in a lot of games where you play against bots. They don't run blindly, they have their positions, they'll try and flank, they will try and kill you. It's something that I really like. So overall, I just wanted to conclude really that I don't think, in all honesty, aside from obviously the fact that a single player campaign is missing, that this game strays too far from the original games. It ticks all the boxes with regards to your tactics, your speed, the fact that your squad needs to move in a coordinated fashion, which can be coordinated using the online tools. The bullet damage is realistic in the sense that if it hits you in an exposed area or in the head, it's going to do critical damage. You can't run around like an idiot thinking it's Call of Duty and be successful. And the weapon sets there's no unlocks. The only thing you can actually do is buy the attachments with the in-game currency. There are microtransactions, and there is a stupid operator called Doc who can shoot you when you're down and revive you. That's bullshit. But overall, it doesn't actually stray far away from the core mechanics, and that's something that people really need to understand. And I know that some people will want to play a single player and won't play this game simply because it's multiplayer, but if you are looking for a modern shooter that's ticking the boxes from the old games, this one is as close as we've ever been, and I think that's exciting. Finally, I will say this game is not worth the 50 quid that Ubisoft want for it. Please do not pay £50. There are plenty of places to pick this game up for £20, £21. Regional equivalent in the US about $30, $35. Do not pay the full price for it. I would not buy the season pass. It's not worth it. It doesn't give you any in-game bonuses aside from XP bonus. It won't help you in the long run, and you can decide to buy it at a later date. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I know this has dragged on for a little bit. Hopefully this has given you a rough insight into how I feel about the game and why I think that people that played the original and were looking for something modern, that have a load of friends, or if you wanted to play co-op, then fine, you can just go and play your Terrorist Hunt. It's a great game, it's fun, and ultimately, I'm enjoying every minute I'm playing of it. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I've been Flads. This has been what actually turned out into a Rainbow Six marketing video, which wasn't really what I wanted. But, there you go. Cheers, and goodbye.